It's time for the Hab-Normals podcast. All Habs, all the time. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to Hab-Normals, episode number 26. We are going to talk about, there's a big rumor out there, it kind of came out today, and also Eric Engels kind of talked about this, sort of, on the Sick podcast with Tony Marinaro. So that's rumor that Montreal is going to be doing something really big before the draft. So we're going to talk about what the possible move could be. We're going to talk about possible players that could be moved in those moves. I'm using the word too much. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Habs prospect Owen Beck, named MVP at the Memorial Cup, was part of the Memorial Cup winning team. I think we're going to speculate on, I guess, when he might hit the team and where he might play when he hits the team. We do have a question for Matt from one of Talking Habs subscribers, one of our regulars. And we're going to talk about Habs sign a goalie for the minors, player not returning, and we're going to tell you our summer schedule. And that's all right here at Hab-Normals. And to do that, my two co-hosts, easier when I do two at the same time, I don't miss.
Yeah.
It's I was going to go Matt Norton. No, it's Matt and Harry.
Yeah, hello everybody.
So we're going to talk about these subjects. Did you guys happen to see the Eric Engels little clip from Marinaro's podcast that I saw?
Nope.
No, I haven't yet.
I think it was like 3 days ago. Okay, so what they're talking about, I think it started out talking about Natchez and the possibility of Montreal acquiring Natchez and what I guess Eric Engels thought about it. His thought was that Natchez, while being a good player, but doesn't move the needle for Montreal the way they want the player that they're going to acquire to move the needle, is basically what it was. And he thinks it's a much bigger move or deal or whatever it is that's going to, but much bigger than Natchez. So that's from Eric Engels. So then we speculate. And the other night, if you remember, we did the Punk Around podcast. And afterward, we were speculating on this. And we'll talk about one of those things that we were speculating on. So just from each of you, let me put this out, the rumor, and then each of you give a comment on what you think. So this is from Hockey Insider. I don't know what this guy is like. I just found it. No, actually, Alex put this up, I think, in our group chat. Breaking news, or maybe Matt did. The Canadiens, the Montreal, and the New Jersey Devils are discussing a trade which would allow the Habs to move up from number 26 to number 10. So this isn't exactly what Engels was talking about. To me, I thought it was more of a player specifically being traded for. But this is extremely huge, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they can get into and get 2 top 10 picks in this draft. I mean, that's insane. I mean, that's just insane. I mean, the sheer talent in the top 10 alone, and him being able to grab 2 of those guys, amazing.
By the way, just want to say, for you viewers, just one sec. We're having a little technical difficulties, as you can see, and we're all having it. So, yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. For the way I see it, if it is a legitimate insider that is reporting this, I was looking at the Twitter. They are from Montreal, and they do tweet a lot about the Canadiens. If it's a legitimate rumor, I love that. I think depending on what we have to give up, because you got to think it's going to be pricey. It's not just going to take a defensive prospect and say someone like Philip Mizar or an Owen Beck, a prospect like that. You got to think it's going to take a little more than that. I think depending on who we get,
somebody off the roster.
Oh, probably. It wouldn't surprise me. And it wouldn't surprise me.
I know the Devils want physicality and a little bit of size up front,
I heard
Josh Anderson, we do it.
Which to me screamed
Josh
Josh Anderson.
Yeah, because and the Devils have kind of wanted him for a couple of seasons, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Devils were the team that offered the first round pick on him a couple years ago.
I'd do it.
You guys got to kind of watch talking over each other.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's not. I knew it was Matt that time. I just got to watch because I think we're all a little laggy, so that's why. Yeah, I think it's Josh Anderson would be going that way. I mean, you got to give them something of value. I mean, if they're going to move back from 10 to 26, it's because you're giving them something of
not that. I mean, we know Josh Anderson can provide more value than he did this past season, but
multiple pieces going to go there. Probably like 5 pieces for that one pick.
Oh yeah, no, it's going to be, and I wouldn't shock. Just probably Winnipeg's pick. Probably throw in a second and maybe another pick, and then Anderson and a prospect.
Okay, I've heard that maybe that's it, but I mean, you might be talking about 2 defensemen, Josh Anderson, and 2 picks. I mean, I've heard people talk about this already.
We're so deep that, and Rick, you and I talked about this. Like we're able to make moves like this. Like we can make a move like this, and it's not going to kill us.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, and which makes me wonder then at that point, because I would have assumed, and if we're going to get back to the rumor that Eric Engels provides that we might be making a bigger move, who's to say we keep 10th overall? Who's to say we aren't moving these assets to get 10th overall to entice whichever team, we're going to mention the player, so I'm not going to say it yet, but try to entice. And of course, the player that we mentioned later, it might be completely wrong. It might be right. We don't know yet.
Go ahead. But mention him. No, go ahead. Mention him. I'm good.
Sidney Crosby from the Pittsburgh Penguins is who we believe is the Canadians are going to acquire per the Eric Engels rumor that we're making a bigger move.
You kind of have to wait. You got to temper that with this. When we say we believe, when this was brought up, I think I brought it up. Yeah. We were talking after the show. And it's kind of a conclusion that the 3 of us sort of talked our way into.
Yeah, he was the most likely superstar. Really not,
and it's pure speculation. But if you really think about it, like take a step back and really think about all aspects of a deal like this, it kind of makes sense. It's something that you can't scoff at. Is kind of how I would describe it. Like it's not something where you you would look at someone who said that and call him a crazy person. Like if you think about it, it's not that far-fetched.
We're gonna get comments that
we will
laugh at us for this.
I don't think we will, because you look at it, Crosby when Gens was traded, he wasn't happy about that though.
No, I get it, but
the Penguins are rebuilding as well.
People will say, "Are you kidding?" or whatever. But I mean, we talked it out, and we kind of all 3 of us, kind of. I don't know who mentioned Crosby's name first, but we kind of hit on that one.
I think you did, Rick, and then I kind of started really thinking about it.
I think I did, yeah.
And we started kind of thinking out loud, and we were just kind of like, that actually kind of works. That's not that far-fetched.
It really can. So let's kind of go through that, I guess, how we were thinking. He's got 2 years left on his contract? 1 year. He has said in the past that, yes, he would like to play for Montreal. Not that he is going to, but he said it's a team he would like to play for. His dad was drafted by Montreal. Mm-hmm. There's a connection there. So there's that. At the trade deadline, when they traded Gensel, Crosby was very upset. And he even said that if the team needs to trade him, he's going to be okay with that. So he has said he's willing to take a trade. It's Kyle Dubas who's making the trades, so there's one thing. You can talk there's it makes sense if it's going to be like something they do. Crosby's a big enough name. He's still producing. He'd be a great mentor for Suzuki, especially for a couple of years.
I don't think you'd really have to, you wouldn't really have to break the bank for him at this point in his career. And, I think from his perspective, being on a team like the Penguins, where I think it's safe to say that they really need to get younger and they really kind of need to go into the rebuild, retool process.
Yeah.
you know,
Which they won't do.
he wants to be part of that. And while the
Right,
Canadians
which they won't do while he's there. They won't do that
Yeah.
while he's there. So
Right.
he's holding back the rebuild in a way, right?
And exactly. And while, you know, the Canadians aren't a team that could, you know, especially this coming season, maybe the season after, aren't really a team that like he could go on and immediately like he can go win another cup. But we're at a point in the rebuild where a guy like that can come in,
could turn us into a wild card team,
moves the needle a little bit, and yeah, I think puts us right,
If you
knocking on the door of a wild card spot.
Say you get 3 or 4 years out of Crosby. If they make that trade, you get 3 or 4 years out of him. You're winning a cup probably in those 3 or 4 years. He could win a cup here if he's here that long.
Right. And I think at that point too, you know, then he can retire, go off into the sunset, and the Habs, you know, this Habs team is ready and going. And we'll have about a next decade that he's gotten them ready for.
Sorry, I had to scream at my dog.
That'll work.
That'd be good. But yeah, like it's.
I mean, it's like it's not. It's kind of crazy, and yet not out of the question.
Right.
No,
and reality, let's say, right?
Yeah. Right. And if I can bring up another point as well, the Penguins made that deal last year for Erik Karlsson. They gave up their first-round pick this year. That is 14th overall. If the Habs get, say, 10th overall and flip that for Crosby as part of the package, I think the Pittsburgh Penguins would love that because they recoup their first-round pick in a way, except they're moving up a couple spots. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're getting a couple spots better.
10. And the top 10 is goddamn good.
Again, it will be. We're in a position where we'll still have that 5th overall pick, and you add a guy like Crosby.
You had Crosby and say, whoever, Lidstrom, Demidov, Lindstrom, Seneca, or Iginla, one of those 4 guys, and Crosby. How huge is that? That's like as huge as you can get. It turns this team from 5th from the bottom 1 year into a playoff team the next.
Yep, and that's not even exaggerating, especially going off the second half of the year with how some of the guys developed.
Right. I mean,
there's a very good chance
I know we only saw Lane Hudson for 2 games, but a full season with him on the back end.
Yep.
Like
feeding Crosby, feeding that power play.
God.
Like this, that's where it makes sense, right? Like you can laugh at it and say Crosby, he's old, you're giving up a ton. But man, that guy can. If that guy brings,
Crosby put up like 94, 95 points last season.
Right, he put up 94 points. Yep.
He fell off a
if that addition drives you to a cup in the next 3 years or so, then that deal is worth it.
Right, and then again, at that point, all the core is only 26. You got like another half decade to a decade of.
And then here's another aspect. How about this aspect? Sidney Crosby, say it does happen. Sidney Crosby's here. He's successful here. Now you're looking to get UFAs to replace him. You ain't going to have any problem getting guys coming to Montreal.
Oh, no.
Right.
No, that's another good aspect of it. So is it going to happen, though? We don't really know.
No. I mean, we have no idea. This is pure speculation. But I do think it's something worth talking about because if you step back, right, you stop laughing, you step back, and you really look at what we just talked about, I mean, it's not that far-fetched. It's really not.
You can reason it out and say, yeah, maybe. Will it happen, though? I mean, I don't know if it's even likely. But, as far as speculation goes, hey, why not?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're in a position where we can make moves like that. It won't hurt us. Like we're at and I think we're at the point in the rebuild where, could something like that prop up. Again, we have the pieces that we can move to make things like that happen. Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon positioned us in a way where we can make that step if they feel that it's appropriate, if they think that it's worth it.
Well, we know already. I'm pretty sure I've heard them say this. The season-ending press conference. Next season is not going to be like these previous ones where it's about development. It's not about the won-loss record. No, this year coming up, they want to be competitive. It's about winning and losing.
Yeah, they want to play meaningful hockey in the late March. That's where they want to be.
Yeah, they want. They want to be a playoff team. They want to be a playoff team next year. Will they? Will they be able to? I mean, it depends on what he's able to do, obviously. But I think it's a possibility. I mean, this team is getting ready to break out.
I mean, they really are.
They're on the verge
right
of that.
there.
A couple of key moves, and I can see that breakout happen this year. If not, they'll be close, and then it'll be next year, in my opinion. But they can make that happen this year, especially if he's, if he can pull off that big move that he's hoping to, because he might not be able to, even though he's working his ass off to do it. But if he can, crazy. Any ideas? Like, because maybe it's not Crosby, right? We're just idiots, and it's not Crosby. What elite establish? I wrote here winger because I think it's going to be a winger, but it doesn't have to be left to a winger. It could be a center. Now, we didn't really have any ideas the other night. You guys got any other ideas for players that they might be chasing? Because remember, we're talking about a trade, so it would leave like a guy like Stamkos out, because that would be a signing, wouldn't it? For Stamkos?
Right. More than likely, yeah. Unless we trade for his rights and sign him, but I don't think that happens.
It's not happening. They're not trading big like that for his rights. So I don't know. Anyways, you out there watching and listening, if you got any ideas of who it might be, let us know in the comment section, because we're just like blank on other star players.
Because you got to think about guys that would move the needle and bigger than an H is. So like,
he's going to move the needle. It's going to be a big time player if they're making this trade. Natchez isn't big enough. He doesn't give you that guarantee of.
It has to be from a team that's on kind of that downswing, right? If that makes sense.
Yeah,
again, if you think about the Penguins, it just.
Penguins fit.
Like,
no, there's no doubt.
It's a perfect fit.
There's no doubt the Penguins fit this scenario. There's no doubt about it, and I hope it's not Malkin, because I'm not a Malkin fan. So
neither am I.
And I don't think Malkin moves that needle the way Crosby would.
Right.
And I wouldn't give up a bundle like that for Malkin. That's me.
Right. I
wouldn't.
So I honestly can't.
It depends on what the Oilers do in the Cup final, but I think you might have mentioned Draisaitl, but
I guess Draisaitl is a fair name to put out there, right? He's got also 1 year left.
But on his deal. But again, I think it depends. Like, if Edmonton wins the Cup, maybe, but I don't know. I don't know what the cap situation is, but I think they'd
right. Can they afford him? I don't know. They had trouble with the cap. I don't know if they can afford him going. Like, they might look at it and say, this might be the way we keep the cap down a bit going forward.
Yeah. Get more depth players. That's going to help us actually win a cup,
which is a problem they had.
Yeah.
Although they're in the finals, so maybe that
makes why they lost to the Florida Panthers in the finals. Manifesting.
They didn't lose yet.
Manifesting. We got to make these age well, Rick. We got to make the odds.
I guess that it won't look good at first, but then it'll look good.
Yeah, exactly. Panthers are gonna get swept now that I said that.
Yeah, you could be jinxing the team you want to win by
I really hope not. I really hope not.
Okay, I just want to read this because I kind of forgot. This is something that Hugh said about what we're talking about. Then we're going to talk about players that we think might get traded. Even though we kind of touched on it, we're going to go back to that. This is something about this that Hugh said. So they made the deal for Doc and Newhook both 2 years in a row, and both before, either at the draft or just before. Newhook was 2 days before. He says, so I think, I don't know what question he's answering. If we can get a player, if we can trade up in the draft, we have to look at any way that we can improve this team. We won't be limited to something that has to make us better next season, though. But if it does, call that icing on the cake. Now, in this case, that's something big to me is not something that's not going to be here next season. It's going to be here next season, right?
Yeah.
So, but I mean, he's not going to give away his cards anyway. That's probably his way of saying, yeah, we're looking to make this huge deal.
Yeah, it's more so just, we want to make a trade.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, we're going to get a star player." It's just,
no, not Hughes.
we're looking at making a trade. We're
Yeah.
interested in it. Like,
and he keeps his cards close to the vest.
exactly. He's a shark. He's a former agent. We should expect that from him.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they were looking for when they hired him, and he's delivering on that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Which is
It's not like prior GMs where management was told do not reveal anything. He's willingly just not choosing to reveal anything right now.
And yet he's very open. Isn't that so? It's funny how
he is. Yeah,
they're very transparent, and yet they do keep their cards close to the chest for those kind of things.
It's when they need. It's when they need to that they keep
for those
close.
kind of things where they can't. I mean, they don't want to give it away. But the rest of it, they're very transparent, which is very weird.
Yeah.
We're not used to it, especially with Bergevin and the previous regimes too. They kept the players away from the media. So this is really good what we're getting. Anyway, I wanted to read that. Now, players possibly could get moved in a big trade. We mentioned if it's New Jersey that they're going to move up to. New Jersey's been after Anderson for a while.
Yep. And I said it earlier.
So what else?
No, I said it earlier. I think that New Jersey was the team that offered the first-round pick for Anderson at the deadline 2 years ago. I think it was them.
Oh, wait a second. On that, I think that was more rumored than actually happened. I read something over the winter that he never really got an offer of a first-round pick. That was not true.
Yeah, I did. Wow, I'm surprised by that.
I think I reported it. I'm not sure if I did, but I do remember I read this or heard someone talking, the experts talking about it. But yeah, apparently it's not 100% whether he actually did get one or not, but it's thought that he didn't actually get one.
Wow.
We'll make of that whatever. But I think Anderson is, New Jersey needs more size. They need and they need a speedy guy. They're a fast team. So they need a guy that can be, big guy, not a lumbering big guy. They got
he does have speed, which Anderson does have plenty of.
Has Andy maybe he needs a change of scenery after that horrible season, mostly horrible season last year. So I think Andy is definitely a possibility to be involved in any trade like this. Of course, Jordan Harris, because they've said it.
Harris, I think, is, and this is also from some inside sources I've talked to. I think Harris is gone at some point this offseason.
Yeah, and he's good with it.
Like
I was reading. They asked him how he feels about it, and he understands it's a business and all that. It seems like a really good guy, Harris. I read something about with his dad too, and they get it. They'd like to stay here, but it's a business. He's going to play wherever he's sent. As long as somebody wants him to come play for them, he's happy to go there. Which is a good attitude. It's better than damn it, they traded me. Whatever.
Yeah, it's like, they wanted to get rid of me. Look at it. There was a team that wanted to acquire you.
Well, that's what he kind of says, so you got to look at it that way.
There's a team that wanted me enough to trade for me. Oh shit, cool.
He's a very upbeat kid, Harris. He does look like a very easygoing kid.
He does.
Always smiling with a big smile on his face. You can't help but like a kid like that.
Yeah.
No, he's a good dude, and he's a good defenseman. It's just we're in a position where we're so loaded. He just happens to be the odd man out.
Yeah.
But one of the
funny, it's talent-wise, right? The talent level. Not that his is bad, but we got players here that are clearly going to be ahead of him.
Yeah. Which is funny because you could argue he played himself out of town by playing well. Because if he wasn't playing well, no teams would want him.
But that's a good thing because imagine if it was the other way around, then you can't move him. I think they're going to be able to move. They're going to be able to move Harris.
Yep. Which is just funny that he played so well for a rookie. It's like, all right, we're going to send you off. It's like, teams want you. We'll get back what we can.
That
basically
shows you the depth of Montreal's potential defense. So that's a good thing.
It does. It is a good thing. It's just I find it funny.
One of the guys could get moved is Barron, but it would be his rights because Barron, I believe, needs a new contract.
He's an RFA, yep.
Right. So it would be his rights if they move Barron or they sign and trade. That could happen.
That is true.
And Kovacevic, because I think there's those three guys, Harris, Kovacevic, Barron. They're on the bottom part of, the talent that's coming up on D. And who else do you guys think? Ullinen. Ullinen could be involved in the deal. I don't think.
Ullinen wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I got a funny feeling. Maybe Riley Kidney, if someone wants a forward prospect.
Yes, I heard his name mentioned today.
Like I could see Harvey Pinard.
Yes,
you know what? I could too if they like Luke Tuck, because Luke Tuck does that role, but better. And he's bigger.
Because you might, like you say, Luke Tuck could be a bigger,
he is
physical Harvey Pinard,
that's
right?
Tuck's role. He gets in the corner. He's gonna bang bodies. He's gonna park his ass in front of the net so long that the goalie knows where he ate his tacos. Like fucking. So like
if you're putting together a package,
RHP and Gallagher, but bigger and stronger.
Right. If you're putting together a package. And we have the bodies, we have the draft pick, right? So they could move 2 or 3 guys in a deal.
And we have the cap space if we needed to. We can go sign someone into like a minimum deal or something just to have a body in there. But especially with a guy like Kapanen coming over, like I think it's possible he could break camp with the team.
Kapanen is a possibility. Although the way Beck has had,
Owen Beck could too. So they're gonna need
those two might.
That could change. Like those 2 guys could be in a battle for that third center spot.
I will say I think it's one or the other. I don't think they both make the team right away. I think one makes it, the other's going to Laval.
Right. Because it's the same. I mean, you can't have 2 guys.
Yeah.
Third. I mean, And besides,
and even at 4th line center, I think you'll want Jake Evans there for the next year or 2.
You know what though? I saw the scenario where people are saying, Evans could be moved, and you got Kapanen and Beck as your 3rd and 4th. I don't know.
Be. I mean, I like Evans.
I think Evans.
I
think Dvorak's probably out the door.
Though.
They can get someone
gone
because there's no spot.
Yeah, Dvorak should be gone. That's another name. Dvorak. Evans,
there's no way to play him.
28. Evans just turned 28. That's got to factor in, right?
Yeah.
He's not gonna, he's not in, he's a little above in age the core of this team going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get an offer, if somebody wants Evans, I can see them moving Evans. If he's asked for let's put Evans in this deal, put Evans in there, we got a deal, like that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, like if it's in the Crosby deal, if for some reason the make or break is Evans, put him in. I love Evans, but hey, we got Crosby. Yeah. I think he'll understand if he's getting moved for Sidney Crosby.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, at his age, at his talent level, he's not here forever, Evans. I mean, it's just clear.
No. But again, too, he's another guy where he's a good NHL bottom 6 center. So you can move him. Like again, we're in such a good position right now where we can make moves like that and really make the team.
Especially when
I love Jake Evans. I'd hate to see him leave.
Yeah, of course, but when you
got near and dear to my heart, but again, it's at that point where
when you've got an upgrade,
younger
upgrade in 2 players, then he's
right.
going to be.
I mean, you're exactly right.
Yeah, So, anybody else got any other ideas for players? I'm trying to think. I'm going through who's on there. I think we got them all. That probably would be not here.
Yeah, I don't. Armia's not going anywhere.
I don't think Armia's going anywhere till the deadline.
Probably not, depending if we're in or out, obviously.
Well, I don't know. I don't see them moving him right now.
No. I'm saying if we move him at the deadline, I think it's depending if we're in the playoffs or out. I think that's what it depends on.
I don't know. That depends too. I mean, if you've got some of the kids that are pushing him out, then I'd see they could move him at the deadline.
I don't know though. I think I see Armia having a good season compared to last year. I think he's going to have a very good year too. I think
that's the biggest tell would be what kind of season he has.
That's true. Is he back to normal Armia, or is he over exceeding Armia like last year? Which
Mario?
Let's hope last year, because Mario Armia. Yeah. Shout out Hockey Junkie.
All right, so let's move on to Owen Beck then. Since we did,
what a player! I love this kid. I mean, I'll say it straight up, he's really turning into a hell of a prospect. And
let's just frame this with Owen Beck of the. Am I right? The Peterborough Petes, or did is he not?
No, he got traded to the Saginaw Spirit.
The Saginaw Spirit. Of the Saginaw Spirit, they made it to the Memorial Cup. I don't know where the Memorial Cup was though. Did they host?
Fitting too.
I don't know where it was, so I don't know if they were also the host team. But they
Saginaw was the host team.
Okay, that's what I thought. That's why I asked it, because I had a feeling they were. Now I don't know. Sometimes the host team deserves to get there as far as they were whatever they were a champion in their league, and sometimes the host team is there only because they're the host team.
Yeah.
Either way, they won the Memorial Cup, and the MVP was Owen Beck, and with the game winner. I don't know if it was on overtime, but the game winner.
I think it says this on my rookie card of his.
What is this? MVP. There you go. Look at that. Perfect. So, what was I going to say? I don't know if it was in overtime or in regulation, but they won the Memorial Cup. He was named MVP. A late season surge a bit for Owen Beck. Would that be fair?
I mean, he was 30 points in 25 games with Peterborough. Then he gets traded. He has 51 points in 32 games. I think you could argue.
Yeah. So that trade was big for him, and he responded big time. And then if you look at those numbers, now the guy's got that offense that they were kind of saying they didn't, does he have the offense needed or whatever? Like, he's a guy that can give you 20 goals probably at that third line center. He may be able to do that as high as that, maybe a little more. Like, there's potential for that.
I think he can get you 30 plus assists, but the one X factor he has, he's a hell of a face-off guy, and his two-way game's also very, very polished for a kid.
Which is what we're going to want for that third line center role.
As we just saw in the Memorial Cup playoffs, he turns it up in the postseason when the pressure.
Right, so potential to be a Guy Carbonneau type.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly.
Third line center that can score. Great face-off guy, like that sounds to me like a Guy Carbonneau type.
Yeah, we know Guy Carbonneau. He won a couple cups in his time.
Oh, listen, I can tell you, Guy Carbonneau was a hell of a hockey player.
Speaking of Guy Carbonneau,
Guy Carbonneau was like Phil Deneau. Like Phil Deneau consistently when he's playing well. Guy Carbonneau, same type of player. Yeah. Carbo though in junior, man, he put up numbers. Check out his hockey DB, you'll see. He put up some big numbers in junior.
Yeah, just if I can just say, his 79-80 season, especially in 72 games, just a casual 72 goals, 110 assists, 182 points.
Guy Carbonneau was a scorer. The Habs drafted him, but they saw something in him, and they told him, "We didn't draft you for that. We drafted you to be our defensive center." So you want to win cups? And he took to it, man. He took to it.
It was phenomenal. There's a reason some people said that the Frank J. Selke should have been renamed the Guy Carbonneau for a while there.
Yeah, Carbo was a great set. I mean, he was just great. As a third line center, my God, was there any better? Or he was right up there with them of all. Like, he was great.
Yeah. Three-time Selke winner.
How many? 3?
Yep, 3. Yep.
Yeah, and well deserved. So I could see, Owen Beck being that type. I don't know enough about Oliver Kapanen to compare him to that and what type of center he is. But from what I understand, similar. Got offense, two-way game, all that stuff, right? So they got 2 really good candidates there at third line center. So, there's so many options with. Depending on who
there really is, and I think when all said and done, we're gonna be able to run like 4 quality NHL lines.
Yeah. It'd be a team that runs 4 lines. Yeah, which is great, and quality lines, 3 scoring lines, because even the third line be good 2-way, but I mean they're gonna be able to score.
Yeah, and then the fourth line, good shutdown.
You can see the players that could be on there, right? Like Beck, Roy, and Newhook.
Mezar.
Right, and that's not even talking some of the guys that haven't played.
Joshua Waugh as well.
Haven't even been
stuck there.
Yeah, Raw. Yeah, there could be. There's such possibilities for this team. Yeah. It's crazy. Okay, let's move on. How are we doing time? Oh, jeez, fine time. We can always revisit some of this, unless you guys want to talk a little more about Owen Beck.
No, I mean, I think we touched on all of it. I think
so.
I think he's blossoming into the player that, we kind of talked about when we drafted him. I think again it's just going to be another one of those home run picks for
and there was a period of time where it looked like maybe not.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then he really rebounded with the trade to Saginaw.
Yeah.
I think that was because I think up to that it was like he was doing okay there in Peterborough.
Yep.
But it wasn't like we were.
Well, he's doing good for an overager. Okay, we expect that. Gets traded. Yeah, he turns it on.
Yeah, so and he's got offense to his game, which is great. All right, we're gonna move on to this question we have. This question is from BL Duff. He's a regular in all our live streams on Talking Habs, and he asks for Matt. It's a little small. I will read it. There is a rumor that Cole Yzerman may be coming to the Q to play for Gardner McDougall, who is taking over the Moncton Wildcats. Matt may be interested as he decommitted from the University of Minnesota and is planning to go to Boston University. I wonder, has he heard this down around Beantown? Oh, I thought it was Borden. Oh, well.
No, that's the first I've really heard of Yzerman not going to BU. I haven't heard any of it from any BU Twitter account. Like, I haven't seen any of that, so I'm not. I don't know. I'm not really gonna fully believe those rumors. Again, I mean they're rumors anyway, but I haven't heard anything, and I would have seen it.
Yeah, I would think.
I follow the accounts I follow.
I would think
people around BU. Like I would have heard about it.
It doesn't make sense to me. This kid not going to Boston University but instead going to the Q.
Yeah,
that doesn't really make sense.
Which is like 4 leagues below.
He's right. Unless there's a reason it's better for his defensive game that he wants to develop, but it still doesn't make sense to me. I mean, he's going to Boston. Why wouldn't he go to Boston University? That doesn't make it.
No, I haven't. I haven't heard anything about that. So,
all right. By the way, if anybody does want to send a question to us, you can do that. Not have to do it through Twitter. You can send us an email or just comment in the comment section. An email at talkinghabs@gmx.com. And while I'm on that subject, if you're still with us, you see 2 T-shirts here beside me.
If you're watching, of course,
for sale. And if you'd like to buy one of these 2 T-shirts, there's 2 designs. They're both great. I'm wearing one. I think I'm the only one wearing one. Send an email to talkinghabs@gmx.com, and we will give you all the detail. One problem is only in Canada because we're doing this through Interact right now, so only in Canada for the moment. So if you'd like a T-shirt, hey, send us an email. All right. I don't know. Is that good at selling? I don't know.
I think Habs pretty good.
Habs have signed another goalie, but not for the main team. They signed. I don't know his name. Do you know his name?
Connor Hughes. I don't know where he comes from. He's had good numbers though. They signed him to a 1-year, 2-way contract. It's to play in Laval with Jacob Dobish. Yes,
seems to be clear. I don't know much about him though.
I looked up a little bit about him before we went live. He's from London, Ontario. So shout out Lucas C, one of my viewers. He loves the London Knights. This guy he's been playing over in the Swiss league for about 3-4 years now. If you're including the minors for the Swiss league, he's been there since 2017. He's gotten very solid numbers. He's been very consistent over the past couple of years. This year with Lausanne Hockey Club in the Swiss league in 19 games, he had 1.73 goals against average and a 940 save percentage. And in the playoffs, he played 17 more games with a 2 goals against average and a 934 save percentage. His numbers haven't been necessarily that good the past couple of years. They've still been solid, though. Granted, 22, he only played 2 games where he was actually very solid. But Connor Hughes, he looks like a guy, probably a decent AHL starter, I would think. Probably gets the backup, maybe splitting starts with Dobesh. He's kind of big boy, 6'4", 231 pounds. He is 27s. Matt just popped the boner. But he's a big boy. He's
a big goalie.
Yeah. He's 27. Sorry?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, he's 27, so don't expect that. Oh, maybe he's a project for the Habs. No, he's an AHL goalie. That's what he's probably going to be.
Right.
I would expect he maybe gets a game in preseason. Maybe that much you can expect out of
A
him.
period, half a game.
Maybe half a game like we do, where they'll split a goal, two goalies, because they have the two squads or whatever.
I think he's there to push Dobish a bit. I think he's there. If in case of crazy injuries to the goalies, you got a little.
Never know.
Depth. That's why the two-way contract. I don't think it's much more than that, like you say. Nothing to get excited about. But I thought, to mention.
I mean, to be fair, I will say, if knock on wood, there were an injury to Monty or Primo, I do think Hughes is the first call up over Dobesh, just because he has experience. He's played a lot in the Swiss League. They'd probably call him up just because he's the more experienced guy. You could probably trust him if you have to give him a game.
Yeah,
so I would think he'd be a call-up.
There's depth there, and it's something that is important because you never know. We had a few seasons ago where we had no goalies and through the whole system.
Yeah. And then Andrew Hammond came out and he played well, and then we traded him, and then he sucked again.
It's good depth to have. Yeah. You never know.
Yeah.
All right. This one I don't think anybody's going to be surprised at, and that's this. Tanner Pearson is official, not coming back. Tanner Pearson not coming back in a test free agent.
Yeah.
Surprise!
It was known. We were trying to move him at the deadline. We couldn't even get a 7th for him, it appears. So
there's no
he started
surprise.
the season off hot. He had 7 points in 7 games at one point.
Yeah, he was like a point a game for the first week.
Yeah, and then it was like, where's Pearson?
No, Harry, it wasn't
for like 3 games. That is true. Week,
and then got hurt.
And then had a couple decent games. He got hurt.
I know he's not a two-way guy, but it would have been nice to at least see a little effort on defense. Like there were times that he was just fucking standing there.
He started out well,
dude.
He started out well, and I thought he was excited to be in Montreal.
Yeah,
and then I don't know. I think something.
I think he got. I don't want to say necessarily lazy, but I think he thought, "Oh shit, I'm point per game. Cool. I just got to keep playing the way I am." And then the rest of the league, of course, as the season goes on, it gets tougher to play, and he just couldn't adapt his game, which is weird because Pearson's never been that type of guy to start a season off hot and then go downhill. He's been very reliable. He's never been that hot off the gate type of guy.
Yeah. So anyways, he wasn't coming back. That's
best
all.
Of luck to him, though. If he gets a contract elsewhere, best of luck to him. Hopefully, he plays well wherever he goes. And
thanks for the time he spent. And he's
thank you for the 2 weeks you were a Habs legend. And
that's
the rest of the time.
First 2 weeks of the season, he was a legend. It seemed like
I think he led the team in points for 2 days.
Yeah, it's like wow, is he going to give us a great season? What's going on? This great
maybe he'll hit 40 points. It's like
Although he is basically that he's a little under half a point a game.
Yeah, if he's healthy, he's a 35-point guy most of the time. It just didn't work in Montreal.
30 to 40 points, somewhere in there, he usually falls. Yeah, and he didn't really deliver that. He didn't.
Yeah, unfortunately. Which to be fair, he was a cap dump anyways. We didn't really expect much out of him for the most part. Anyways.
Very true. Yeah. Just the body that they needed in the lineup, and the season where it wasn't about wins and losses. So there we go.
Exactly.
All right, let's talk about just this quick. We're going to tell you what the summer schedule is going to be. We are going to be going basically to every 2 weeks, except I think so. So we're back. What is it today? I think we're actually taking 2 weeks off here. We're going to be on just before the draft and the week after the draft, and then we're going to every 2 weeks till training camp time. So it's summer schedule. There's not a lot to talk about. So hopefully, guys, you don't mind, but if there's something big to talk about, we'll come back on and we'll do that. But so summer's coming up, and that's it. I got nothing else. You guys got anything else to add? I know the answer is going to be no.
No, not really. No.
Good. 9 o'clock on the nose. All right, so everybody, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Let us know what you thought, what you think about the show in the comment section. There's a lot of stuff that you can let us know what your thoughts are. Please do that. You can send us an email if you want to ask a specific question at talkinghabs@gmx.com. You can inquire about the t-shirts. Also at the email address. That is in the description, by the way, if you don't remember it. And that's it. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Hopefully, that will get us like a lot of stuff to talk about. We will be talking about the draft, the upcoming draft. We may have more information at that point about about who they actually might pick. There might be things come out. Someone might leak something. Who the hell knows?
Maybe some trades. Like who knows?
And that big deal that we're expecting might have happened. So there's that. If something does happen, I will be doing a video about it. I'm sure Harry will be as well. So check that out. Don't forget, I always forget to do this. Harry at Harry Rice Hockey on YouTube. Don't forget to check him out. He does his own videos and he does some of his own live streams too. So check that out. He does all kinds of stuff there. You might just find you have a laugh. And not because he's embarrassingly funny, but because he's funny.
Thank you, Rick.
No problem. I keep forgetting to plug your channel. I do.
Don't worry.
So that'll do us for this week. Thanks everybody for being here. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Stay safe out there for those 2 weeks. Peace out, y'all. And from my fellow co-hosts, have a good, whenever you're watching this, have a good day, night, weekend, and ciao, everybody. Go Habs, go!